Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with the review for Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 5, The Reunion Part 2. So, you guys, we got to the second part. It has been a challenge for me to get to these videos, you guys, so I can tell you for a fact that we will not have Top of the Blogs, and we will not have Let's Talk About It this week. It's hard enough trying to get these done, but I know I had to get this done because you guys are obsessed with Real Housewives of Potomac right now. It's funny because I asked on Twitter, you know, how good the show was, the episode was, and you guys all talked about Monique and Candace as if that was all they talked about on the reunion. I hadn't watched it yet. Then when I watched the reunion, I was like, this Candace and Monique thing was the last 10 minutes of the reunion, and you guys, I mean, you guys would think that the whole reunion was about them. So I was just like, yeah, I already know where everybody's head is at. So I had to get this video done. But yeah, I'm just letting you guys know. I'm gonna let y'all discuss amongst yourselves in the comments. I won't be in them because I really truly don't care. I'm just over it. I'm ready for it to be done. And it's been dragged on a long time. And it just gets worse and worse, and people just really emotional about it and all that. So yeah, I'm just like, whatever. But we're going to get this review done. We're going to get it done today. For those of you guys who don't know, I am in Park City in Deer Valley in Utah with my family for the holidays. And that's why you're getting me on location. I am in my room right now with the door closed trying to get this done so I can go have breakfast with everybody. So with no more further ado, you guys, let's get to it, shall we? So the show starts where it ended last week. Okay, was Jamal faithful? Gizelle says they're fine. She doesn't believe anything that Monique is saying right now. She isn't even bothered by what Monique is saying. She says she's come a long way, you know, that she's been nothing but open and transparent about her relationship with Jamal over the years. And so she takes all this in stride. I was like, I guess Gizelle is giving us the old never let them see you sweat response. Okay, I mean, I guess what else can you do? Either you're gonna argue with Monique or you're just gonna try to do as much damage control as you can and just let it go by. So I think that's what Gizelle was doing right now. Now, has the show put a magnifying glass on the relationship? Definitely so. She does believe that. Monique says, well, you know what? The good pastor could have just came and sat behind you and been like, no, my child, none of that is true. But like many of you guys pointed out in the comments last week, Jamal is not on the show. He's not a husband. He doesn't have to show up, you know? So Jamal was completely in his rights with staying away. And honey, if I was Jamal, I'd have stayed away too. Shit. But yeah, Gizelle says she's fine. Even when she talks to Jamal later on, she's going to be just fine. Now, they get an hour break right after this happened. And, you know, Monique is reiterating that if everybody wants to play dirty with her, then she's gonna get down dirty in the trenches with them. Okay, everybody want to talk bad about her relationship, about her marriage, want to talk about everybody's marriages and have all these things to say, then damn it, she got her binder. And she will definitely let you guys know. As far as Gizelle and Robin, you know, they're kind of laughing at Monique. All right. I feel like Robin was laughing with Gizelle and not necessarily at Monique. Just trying to make her friend feel more comfortable. You know, they're saying that she doesn't have a life and that she's, you know, had all this time to get this book together, you know, this book of lies. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, you guys did shut her out. You iced her out. You gave her nothing but time. So this is the result. But yeah, let them tell it they're not bothered. But I was like, oh, Gizelle, I think you were a little bit bothered. Just a little. Now, after the break, we move on to Ashley and Michael. And Michael's not there, just to let you guys know from the beginning. Michael had to go to a wedding in South Carolina. He thought that the reunion was the next week. Isn't that convenient? If I was Mike, I wouldn't have came either. He's been on the hot seat way too much. Ashley can handle it. Let your wife deal with it. You know, Michael don't know how to deal with what happens at these reunions, okay? So anyway, we talk about Ashley and Michael's relationship. I've told you guys plenty of times that Ashley and Michael know exactly what Ashley and Michael are doing. Okay, everybody be so concerned about whether or not they have an open relationship, whether or not he's cheating. I think that Ashley is 100% clear on what Michael has done. As a matter of fact, she kind of insinuated that, or she actually said that. She said the reason why she's able to just kind of take it on the chin with what happens with Michael, or just kind of let it go by, forgive him and move on, is because she hasn't been the most faithful, and she's done some things in the past that he's forgiven her on. So she's doing that because he's given her a break before. And so that's why I know these two know exactly where their relationship is. It's just not as conventional, so people don't understand it. But we ain't getting our dander up over Michael and Ashley. When they asked her if she slept with Katie Ross, and she was like, it's so funny that always comes up and people think that is me automatically. But no, she did not sleep with Katie Ross. I was like, maybe it was Robin. Okay, let Brittany tell it. Okay, Bondi. She said that Robin has given her lesbian tease. And I never saw it until, I heard Brittany say it that time. And then I was like, oh, maybe so. And Robin, she pretty quiet over there. I mean, she didn't say nothing. So there still is other housewives to choose from. And I guess if I was to choose, I would think that it would be Robin. But anyway, as far as Michael in the hotel with the woman, we all know that, most times, probably up to like 98%, men, if they stay in a hotel with a woman and it's already a clandestine situation and they not supposed to be there in the first place, it's already real sneaky, and you guys was all over and flirtatious and all that. You're going to seal the deal when you get up to the hotel. So Michael can say that he didn't sleep with that woman is all that he wants. I believe chances are, and then clothes was removed too. Yeah, chances are that they did sleep together. But again, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter because Ashley is 6 months pregnant again. She's having another baby, okay? As far as the prenup, she doesn't have a prenup any longer. All right, that one wore out. I guess, the time lapsed and now she's just married with no prenup. She was going to get a postnup that said, if anything did happen, if he did cheat, or, after the fact, then she would get so much money, or, this would be the stipulations amongst the divorce. But as of now, she doesn't have her prenup, and she is in that marriage because she wants to be, and she's pregnant because she wants to be, and she's got kids with him. So it's just like, yeah, y'all can get all emotional over Ashley and Michael, but child, that relationship is exactly where it's supposed to be, if you ask me. Now, next up we have Karen. Karen and Uncle Jessup. Is Uncle Jessup and Karen happy?
Yes, we are.
Is she happy to be back in Potomac?
Oh, yes, of course I am. I am.
And ladies, was the house grand dam enough for Karen? Everybody said that they thought it was very nice, very cozy. So yeah, let's talk about Karen right now. We saw when she went back home to visit her family, and Gizelle and Ashley went with her. They said how much they enjoyed that trip because Karen was just little old Karen. She wasn't, the grande dame that we always have to put up with. Were they jealous that they weren't able to be in the parade? No, they weren't jealous. They didn't want candy thrown at them, so they were okay. And, Karen was just like,
oh my God, I had such a good time. I had so much fun there. I'm sorry, girls, if you weren't in the parade.
But it was for Karen. There was no reason for Gizelle and Ashley to be in there anyway. Everybody talks about how much they love, Karen, how much fun she is off camera. So they're glad that people are starting to see a little bit of that off camera Karen on the show. Andy says, you know what? I have to admit, I love drunk Karen.
Oh, I love drunk Karen too. I love a fireball, Andy.
And then here comes Robin with her questions. Robin always got a question. She should be the interviewer. She should be Andy, actually. She was like, well, Karen, why were you so dismissive of me when I was asking you about drinking all of the fireball?
Robin, I wasn't dismissive. I was hungover.
Anybody could see that. She didn't even have time to be trying to come up with a response to Robin that day. We saw in the package that Karen was talking about Uncle Jessup and her unhappiness with their relationship at the time. Andy was like, let's just clear the air right now. Okay, because Robin had said that Karen had said that she was unhappy with Uncle Jessup's dick. Okay, so Andy asked her, are you unhappy with Uncle Jessup's dick?
Absolutely not, and I think that is disgusting.
Disgusting what, his dick, or somebody said that? So yeah, she denies it, and of course she's going to deny that. Whether or not she said it, nobody wants to say something like that about their husband on national television. It's embarrassing. So deny it and move on. Another big thing that they talked about in the show many times this season was the fact that Karen had to bail Uncle Jessup out when he was having his tax issues. And I had told you guys in reviews that while you still do kind of have an attitude when shit like that comes up and you feel like you have to take up, you have to pick up the slack in a moment where you might not be as appreciated, but you're in a marriage and you've got a commitment and you have the money and you going to help your spouse, okay, you don't really get any kudos, really extra points for that, because it's just the shit happens and you are in this marriage, and so you have to do what you have to do. Okay. And I think that Karen probably realized that, because she was just like,
You know what, Andy? I thought about it and I was like, I was in this marriage and I was the spoiled brat for 17 years. I was taken well care of.
so she thought about it and she did what she had to do. Okay. She felt like she needed him to thank her for that, and I guess that's what he did, and they was able to move on from that. But, that was just a dark point in their marriage. They needed to get past it. Andy says, I would imagine that, the dynamics in you guys' relationships might have changed, considering you've been on the show for like 5 years now, and, the incomes have gotten bigger and you make more money. And Monique was like, this little bitty check ain't nothing compared to what Chris brings in. I was cracking up because I was just like, she was just like, man, please don't nobody need this little bit of money. I use this money for my business. I was listening to her say that, and I was like, ooh, it's going to be so many people mad at her for saying that. But I mean, it was probably true. She said that his investment portfolio was doing very well, and they are very well off. But I mean, we already knew that, right? But it probably will bother people to hear her say that, the ones that don't really care for Monique. Let's see, who else is there to talk about? Well, Candace, I'm sure, is making more money than Chris, but she didn't say anything about it. Robin said that she and Juan make sure that they contribute equally. She's very conscious of ego, and just trying to, you don't want to emasculate your man, so she's going to keep it at that. They didn't talk to the rest of the women. So we're just going by that. But yeah, I'm sure that there are some differences now that they're making more money. But hell, they married, so what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours, right? What about when Uncle Jessup said that he didn't love her? Gizelle says that she felt like Karen had already heard that before. She already knew that he didn't love her, and that she was actually upset on TV because she was embarrassed by the fact that he said that he didn't love her. And Karen was just like, absolutely not. I had never heard that before. He's never said that to me before. And I was upset because I was hurt. I wasn't embarrassed. I mean, who wants their husband to get on TV and say that they don't love them? So I'm sure she probably was embarrassed as well. Gizelle saying that she was glad that Uncle Jessup brought it up so that they can deal with it. I'm just like, why are you so glad? Like, why are you so concerned about? I mean, I don't understand why anybody is really concerned about anybody's relationship on the show. Nobody there is close enough as friends where you truly do care about the other person's relationship. So it was just like, she was like, I was so glad that he brought it up so they can deal with it. Girl, move on with your life. Nobody cares. Wendy, are you concerned about Karen's coochie box? Wendy says no, she's not concerned about Karen's coochie box. It's just that, it came up and it was strange to her because, she doesn't talk, people don't talk about sex like that. They were like, girl, this group, all that we do is talk about sex. Yeah, you get with your girls, you talk about sex, but I guess not in this context for Wendy, because Wendy was just confused as to why they were even talking about it, I guess. But Wendy was the one that kept on talking about it and bringing it up when they were out there. So it was just like, Wendy, well, what is it? You don't talk about it or you do talk about it? Karen is just talking about how she's just being way more open this season, and talking, and she's just always been that way. And Andy was like, I got to stop you there, Karen, because I feel like over the years, you've talked about your life in circles, and it's always been kind of a roundabout way for us to figure out, do you live in Potomac? Do you not? Do you rent? Do you own? Do you have money problems? Are you having money? Do you have a company? Do you not? Like, he was like, yeah, there's always been some question to everything that you do.
Andy, I'm just peeling back the layers, okay? I am evolving.
I said, okay, Karen, go on and evolve then. I think that we all can agree that this season, Karen has been different than she has in the past seasons, whereas this season, she just kind of doesn't give a fuck and she's just living her life and saying what she wants to say, and it's coming off good for her. I think that this was a good season for Karen. Now, next up, we have Monique, and she is irritated because she can hear Candace saying things under her breath over on the other side of the room, you know, and I'm sure that's firing up Monique quite a bit. So I already knew that this was not going to go well and that Candace probably was going to end up crying by the end of this segment. But anyway, we get started with Monique. So we talk about T'Challa for a little while, how the girls don't really like the bird. Everybody had their bad experiences with the bird or whatnot. T'Challa leaving and running away for 26 hours, how distraught Monique was. We saw it on social media. She was looking for her bird. The bird did turn up, come back home, and that's not normal. So she does have a little connection with her little T'Challa. And we start talking about her relationship with Chris, how the girls feel like he was disrespectful for saying what he said at the lake house about her not wanting to give him a blowjob and things like that. You guys know that had rubbed me the wrong way too when I saw that on the episodes. It's probably taken out of context. It probably was much more fun and everybody was laughing when they were all there. But of course, when we see it on the show, we just see a little bit of it. We get irritated with shit like that. So, I mean, the intention for the way it was edited, it did come across that way, that he was disrespectful to her. Okay. But then, you guys, we start to get to the nitty gritty of the situation. And I was like, oh, this is about to be really tiring. Monique and the rumor that she was having an affair with, you know, the trainer. Now, she told us, now, we've been through this so many times that I don't really feel like talking about it, but we just gonna go through this and we just gonna go through it, you guys. We know that the friend Gigi was talking all the shit behind her back and was going to the different housewives to see if she can get up enough dirt for them that they would possibly be able to bring her on the show, I guess, as a housewife. Okay. And Monique got word about it. She found out about it. There was this whole plot that, as far as Monique is concerned, that the girls were going to bring this to the show and try to tear down her marriage. Okay. And that's why Charisse was brought into it. But Monique said that there was a plot to bring it onto the show and that the plot got thwarted, you know, and then Karen found out and all of that, you guys know. So Gizelle says, no, there was no plot. Okay, nobody was going to talk about it on the show. And there's still a lot of confusion about that situation. Andy was like, we did not talk about it on the show. Well, how did you not talk about it on the show when that's all Gizelle would talk about when she was in the confessionals? We picked that up right away. Every time she got in the confessionals, you know, she was talking about the word on the street is that Monique is having an affair with the trainer and that big boy found out. And, you know, so yeah, it was on the show. It wasn't with the girls on the show, but it definitely was on the show. So Gizelle did use the show to still bring that story out. She did it all on her own. That's why we were so annoyed with Monique for trying to be friends with Gizelle all the you know, at the beginning of the season, not all the season, before the fight. Because it was like, girl, she is chopping you down in these confessionals and you don't know nothing about it, boo. So that's why Monique came with all the vitriol in this reunion, because I think she was listening to social media. She was listening to the reviewers and everybody saying how she's getting played. Okay. So now this was her chance to get back at Gizelle, who she was trying to be friendly with and all of this. And we couldn't understand why she was doing it anyway. Okay. When you already knew that Gizelle was part of the plot, but whatever. So after we was talking about that for a little while, Andy said, let's put a pin in that because he wants to get to the fight. And I was like, oh, God. Like I said, the last 10 minutes of the damn show, you guys would act like it was the whole fucking show. But anyway, let's talk about that shit. So you guys, this is how it all went down for me. We talk about Candace and Monique's relationship, basically how it fell apart, how it all culminated in this big fight. You know, they show all of the clips and the scenes that led up to that very moment. So we get all of that, and then we start asking questions. So did Candace have bad intentions when she invited Charisse to, you know, be around Monique? Everybody says no. I honestly don't think that Candace did either. Okay, Charisse is a friend of all of the rest of the girls as well. So Charisse shows up at different events. She's there. Okay, so I think Candace, probably not thinking as clearly as she would, if, you know, in afterthought, she invited her because she's always around. Okay, Monique took special problem with that because she felt like Candace was a good friend of hers and that she should have just known. I feel like all of that could have been handled if Monique would have just pulled Candace to the side and been like, girl, don't invite that bitch around me when I'm around. Like, I just don't want to be around her. And it could have been a very easy conversation. Instead, everybody is so in their feelings and mad about the fact and feel like like Candace is trying to do something to Monique by having Charisse around. And I just don't think it was that deep. I just honestly don't think it was that deep. It was a mistake. If you would have corrected it at the beginning, Candace wouldn't have done it anymore. Monique says that she just felt like she should have gotten a heads up about it. Again, I just don't know if I agree with that. Robin was like, why do you even give that girl so much of your energy? Like, you shouldn't even let her make you that upset. But I mean, I can see why Monique would be upset with Charisse. I just feel like the anger is misdirected. Like, you should be maddest at Charisse and Gigi, okay? And probably Gizelle. I just kind of feel like Candace is an easy target. So it was easier for Monique to go there. And of course, Monique and Candace, that last season didn't go well for them. You know, Candace has done things and said things that has poked the bear. So yeah, that's the reason why Monique just continuously was hard on Candace, really was coming after her. But yeah, you guys, I'm just, whatever, let's keep going. As far as the fight, so there's a lot to unpack here, okay? When I asked you guys on Twitter, you know, how good the show was, what most of you guys kept saying was production was all on Monique's side. Every time she said something and the girls or Andy would refute it, then production would show what happened in the fight and it would always back up what Monique said, okay? I agreed with what one particular rock star said, which was that it seemed to me that every time Monique would talk about the fight, she had such a play-by-play, blow-by-blow recollection of the fight that you could tell that she had studied that fight. She has watched it many, many times, and she's come up with a reason for all of the things, why she did what she did, because she looked at the fight. You know, we never heard all of these things that she was explaining in the reunion during the season. Okay, now all of a sudden she said, you know, she got pushed in the back and she thought that it was Gizelle, and she, you know, she got hit in the mouth with the wine glass, and you know that broke her inside of her mouth, and you know she's telling you all of the reasons why she did what she did, but back then she just told us that she blacked out. Now, which is it? Did you black out, or do you recall every single thing that happened? No, she's watched this fight many, many times. And I mean, it's fine, because if you're really trying to come up with an explanation of why you did what you did, then that's what you do. But you just kind of are looking at what it was, and now you're having an explanation for everything. And that is why when the producers would show the footage, it would back up what she said, because she obviously knew the fight verbatim. Like, she knew exactly what happened at what time. I don't think the producers were trying to be on her side per se. I think the producers was just showing the footage to you guys, you know, way more in depth so that you can make the decision on how you feel about whether it was Candace, whether it was Monique, if the other girls contributed to the fight or whatever. But, you know, people were saying, oh, the producers were against Andy. I was like, Andy is a producer, you guys. Listen, don't get caught up in it. Okay, let's remember, Andy is there because he is a producer of the show as well. So he's making it big off of this show, whether or not he agreed with the damn footage or not. Okay, y'all still watching. Everybody is still all up in arms about that fight. They still making money off of it. So Andy is a part of the group. Okay, so don't be all like Andy's with the producers. Okay, you best believe Andy knew what was coming up in them, you know, in those videos. As far as Candace, you know, her still being upset about it, you know, they asked her, did she want to talk? Ask her about the fight. She said she got the footage. It took her many, many months to watch it, you know, because she didn't want to watch it. She didn't want to see herself in that way. She didn't want to see herself fighting with somebody else. You know, she's crying. She's traumatized by it. I really think that Candace is more so upset about the fallout after the fight, not the fight itself. Okay, I think that she is upset because people have come after her. We already know the Real Housewives fans and stands are on a whole nother level. So I'm sure they have been harassing the girl. And it's been upsetting for her, and she's crying and everything. And at the same time, Monique is just sitting over there just sort of like, oh, well, Andy tells her that she's cold. I mean, you can tell that it's a defense mechanism. These are these are the ways that some people are. They deal with things. They're not going to show a weakness. So if you are over there crying and it's supposedly because of something that I did, okay, it's just sort of like, well, I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, I mean, it happened. That was sort of like Monique's thing. She's not going to be like, oh, Candace, it's okay. That is not her personality, and especially not when you're on the defensive. When everybody is up against you and saying that you did this, that, and the other, you not about to fold. Okay? So that's why Monique was just like, and you can say that she's cold, but it was definitely a defense mechanism. But Candace crying, she got to get up. She got to leave. She can't take it no more. I think that I just wish, I can't say that, like they're saying, you can't tell somebody to get over something if it has affected them emotionally, if something that they're dealing with. I get it. Okay. But if I were to wish anything for Candace this next season when she's on the show, it would be that she protects herself a little bit more and has like a tougher exterior, because when people continue to think that you have like this soft part or like this weakness that they can attack, then they come after that. I just hope that she watches this show and realizes that even if you feeling it all on the inside, girl, you're gonna have to toughen up, because these bitches are gonna come for you. Okay, if they know that they can continue to make you cry and continue to make you, can't deal with it and all of that, then that's what they're going to do. All right, you guys, make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until the next time, Roxstars. Bye.